Alright lads, welcome back to the channel. So I thought today that I would run you through the new boat. It's about 6 months old. I wanted to make sure that I had ran it in properly, taken it offshore, given it a bit of a flogging before I did a review on it. When I was buying the Kingfisher, it was something that wasn't really out there, wasn't really showing the boat in its true condition, or at least, you know, someone talking about it that had owned it for a while. So this is the 510 series. It's a mini cat. It's a sick little boat. I've had it for about 6 months, and I'll just run you through the middle. So I love the boat, and I got it put on the GFAB trailer. They come across on a different style of trailer. The Kingfisher company can't send their trailer over just due to Australian law, but their trailer is pretty sick if you can get one. So I've got the 150 power on the boat. It's a center console. I've got a tuna lure under there that I have obviously left behind. I got U-deck all the way through, 16-inch sounder, Garmin sounder, and I've got the 3-in-1 transducer, and I'm going to get the 1 kilowatt put in next week just so I can sound up marlin and tuna a little bit better. All in all, I'll put up some images of the boat riding offshore. Rides really well, true cat. Obviously rides extremely well into a seaside, onto a sea, and just being careful going in a following sea, obviously, because it's a cat design, but ride is phenomenal. I've got the 150 on the back. That is more than enough horsepower. I think they recommend a 130 on it, but the max you can fit on it is 150. So that's what I've gone with. You know, if someone says you can fit 150, well, I'm going to put 150 on it. Few things that have changed since I bought the boat, which I think is a massive plus for this boat. My fuel tank is located in the bottom of here. It's 150 litres, but what it limits for me is I've got no under storage here. I'm getting the glove box goes in next week as well, so that's going to be cut out up here so that I can have the USBs, and when I charge my GoPros they'll be in there, and it gives me a heap of space in the top. Obviously the sounder takes up a lot, which, you know, is a bit of a pain in the bum, but you can't be without a big sounder. You got your front storage up here, which is unreal. This one here over here is where I keep all my sort of the battery for the Minn Kota, safety gear, life jackets, and this one over here is just empty. So that one is for fishing gear and whatever I don't want to get wet. Casting deck is by far like why I wanted this boat over, say, a hard top. I wanted a boat that was going to be in between like a marlin boat, a tuna boat, you know, kingfish, so that pelagic style fish, and then a boat that can get in the estuaries, chase a brim, flathead, etc. So it's quite a sick looking boat, looking this way. You know, this casting deck is something that I bought it for. Now you can get handrails that are extended to like this level. I personally didn't want them. It's something that's an option, so if you feel like you're a little bit not safe at sea, that's something that you can put there. It's just not an option I went for. So going back to the fuel tank, the fuel tank is down here, and the issue with the fuel tank is it takes up the storage, but now they have moved it, and I'll show you the back of the boat, but there is another hull that runs through the middle of the actual cat itself, and that now I think it's 90 litres or 100, but don't quote me on that, you'd have to look yourself. But that means that this storage down here is all storage. You can fill that with whatever you want, and that's a massive bonus for whoever buys one moving forward. The other thing that I would option if I was going to buy the boat again, obviously the rod holders, like the 4 rod holders, they're awesome. My outriggers go up the top in here and shoot off from the side, so I have my 4 50s, one there, one on the other side. They spray out to the side, which is mint. Option to get this cut off. I'm getting it done myself. You know, that's just something that was like I didn't pick up when I was buying it. I'd love to have rod holders here, which they do, so that's an option to do. And I'm just telling you that when I would buy it again, these are the things that I've missed and I would purchase again. for the boat. And obviously rod storage. So one of the guys that is a part of Kingfisher has the same model boat, but he has rod holders for storing his game rods here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can, when you're driving, so you don't have to lay your rods down, you can have them here. So I'm getting gunnel rod holders welded in, but the only issue with the gunnel rod holders is, you know, if they're here and you've got 50s, that's going to be, you know, it's going to be in your way. Mind the bird shit too. We're going out for a squid fish, me and the missus, so I thought this is a prime time. But deck wash, unreal. Live bait tank works really well. You know, I've had slimies alive in there for 8 hours and had no issue whatsoever. I've got the fly-by-wire controls, my ski goggles when we go offshore, because we come back in some big sea the other day, and it's just nice to have, because your glasses just kind of are in the way. Fly-by-wire controls. Look, that's just a nice to have. You don't have to have that. It is quite expensive to get the fly-by-wire on it, but hey, when you're spending good money, I would say that for me personally, it's a positive. And the other plus to fly-by-wire is you've got, well, obviously you trim up and down, but you can see this button here, and this has it on, you know, Hellmasters. It's fly-by-wire and above, and you can do it on some normal controls, but I think your rev range is set to, it's like 2,000 revs, so you can't really get to trawling speed. But for trawling for marlin and tuna, I just set that at my speed to my rev range, and then the rev range, like you can go up to, you can do it at 50k an hour if you want. So that's a plus for me. That's a bonus for me. I've got undergunnel lighting. I don't think I'll put on the isolator to see. Show you guys. You can't really see it, so, but we've got blue undergunnel lighting, which looks, you know, sick at night time. And I've got obviously the white, you can't really see in there at the moment. As for the boat and how it handles, it's like, if you could imagine getting off the mark is phenomenal. So it's kind of, there's no drag in the back of the boat whatsoever. So crossing bars and things like that, when you need that power, especially with the 150, I can have 4 people in this boat going game fishing, and it'll get up and boogie at probably, well, 75, 76 kilometers an hour with the 4 people in it. Just turn this isolator off. Not that you need to go that fast, but hey, I just like it. No ifs or buts about it. The reverse chair, pretty cool for when you're game fishing. I usually have one back, one forward when I'm driving and I'm game fishing, because I can kind of sit here, outriggers out here, rods out here, lures out the back, and I can sit here, drive, because my control's good, and I can kind of, you know, if there's no boats around, it's a kind of safe way of doing it, kind of. Never said it was really safe. Cup holders. The other thing I'll touch on is, and what sold me on the boat, because I was looking at like the extreme King center consoles. I was looking at the Surtees, bar crushers, all those sort of things. The finish on these boats is just, it's wild. Hey, like I'll show you a weld that hasn't been painted, then I'll show you a weld that has been painted. So these are the welds, like, you know, it's just finished just so well. Like all their welds are just beautiful beaded welds everywhere you look, running down the sides. So all their rod holders are, you know, beautifully welded in. I got the center console, the inside painted, like a light grey. You can just get it as a alley finish like this. So inside painted and the outside wrapped. The reason I went for inside painted, outside wrapped, just a nice finish with the paint. I don't like the alley look. The alley look is fine for a lot of people, but I just wanted something a little bit more neat and tidy. But I'll get out and I'll show you under the boat. So this is what it looks like from behind. See the hull here, that is now the fuel tank. I'm about 80%, 90% sure that that's now the fuel tank, but you'd have to check when speaking to the guys. And then obviously GFAB trailer, you know, Now, just bear in mind, I did go tuna fishing yesterday, so it's not perfectly clean. You know, beautiful looking boat. GFAB trailer is just a GFAB trailer. If you know anything about trailers, and GFAB is just the go-to, they're a banger. Yeah, so this is the hull of the boat. And if you're gonna go the GFAB trailer again, I wouldn't get the auto catcher. This is it here. I'll get you nice and close. And so obviously, you know, you can switch it off and on, catches the boat when you launch on your own. And most of the time I fish on my own. So, you know, on a normal mono hull boat, when you got the trailer in deep enough, it will slide back on you. But because of the way the trailer is made and the hull with the cat, it's quite flat. So, you know, that there, when you pull up, this is like your angle. When you pull up on the boat, it's not going to slide back. It comes on, goes on, and comes off really easy. But when I gas it up onto the trailer, there's no real risk of me slipping back, because like the hull itself isn't like a V into the water, so it kind of sits on the trailer really nice. And like, you know, you could save yourself $1,000 or whatever it was, whatever I paid for it. But if you're keen to reach out to them, Kingfisher, I would definitely be going to Kingfisher. Give them a yell in New Zealand. It's from New Zealand. They're definitely the boys you want to be talking to. And yeah, it's a sick build. Don't know what else to say about it. A mean looking boat. Rides really well. Hopefully I can put some footage in there for you of it offshore. And yeah, other than that, if you've got any questions and you want to know more about it, yell out. The other thing I'll touch on is got the 80-pound Minn Kota on the front, 150 amp hour. I think it's BLA marine battery. That is, you know, do me all day for battery, even when I'm out for kingies or whatever. The other thing to touch on is under here, I'd ask him to put like a net or something across the back of that. It's really good for your esky, really good for tackle bags and things like that, but just need something to secure it in when you're driving along. And then stereo, all that standard stuff, doesn't really matter. But the other one to look at is Spec Media. He's on, you'll see him on the Kingfisher page. He owns another one like this, but he's got all the upgraded mods. So if you want a boat to see that's got all the like the new fuel tank, the rods up the front, etc., he has got one of those built. Other than that, quality build, awesome boat, and hopefully I can get a few marlin in it this season. And when the big bluefins come around May in Victoria, we'll be chasing them hard. So, but the ride is phenomenal out in the rough. Feel very safe. It's only a 510, so I feel very safe out in the boat. But yeah, it's something that I would 100% purchase again. So anyway, any questions, yell out.